Hey everybody, good Friday morning. Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. We've got to talk about this storm system on Sunday. Still watching for a pretty significant wind and rain event, but I'm starting to see a little uptick for severe weather for parts of the Carolinas. It's still low overall. I don't want to get people too worked up over this, but especially eastern, central, north, and South Carolina. Got to watch this potential on Sunday, especially if the front continues to slow down. You see what's going on. That low pressure has now entered the middle of the country. You can see it over Oklahoma City. In response, we're pulling up a lot of warm, humid air. In fact, temperatures today, if it wasn't for the cloud cover, we'd be jumping up pretty quickly. I think well into the 60s today. I'll show you the temperatures quickly. You see the 60s and 70s surging up ahead of this front. Here in the Carolinas, temperatures are already in the 50s. So we're warming pretty quickly, and that's with full cloud cover. Now, the real concern is as we go into the time frame tomorrow, basically into Sunday, we're looking at that potential for severe weather. So let's put the severe weather potential up today. I'll throw it up real quickly. You can see there across Arkansas. Tomorrow, severe weather outlook shows a pretty significant stretch from eastern Texas up into central Nebraska. And then we go into Sunday, day 3. And if you watched me yesterday, I kind of hinted at this, that I think eastern part of the Carolinas would be under a low risk. And sure enough, as of today, we are in a low risk area for severe storms. So we certainly have a severe weather risk on the low end side right now, but we still have a pretty heavy rainfall set up as well. I'm going to show you the day 1 flash flood guidance, and you can see nothing there. We'll go to day 2, and the area outlined in green is the low risk. We'll go to day 3, which is Sunday. And you see the area outlined in green. That's a low risk for flash flooding. So we've got a low risk for flash flooding, 5 to 10%, but also a low risk for severe weather. So let's get right into the details with the futurecast. All right, so we'll start with 7 p.m. tonight, and you see a lot of moisture trying to come north. A lot of this isn't going to happen. This is a little bit overdone in the guidance here. Mainly clouds that we're looking at here. This definitely rain, but what I'm watching is this low pressure system back here and the front. So we'll go into tonight, into early tomorrow morning. This is tomorrow morning, and notice, we start to see scattered showers and storms to our west. I think most of Saturday will be dry outside of the mountains. Now, the mountains, I do anticipate some upslope flow and a little bit of rain on Saturday, but for the most part, we should be dry. What we'll be watching is this line of storms developing back to the west Saturday afternoon. That's why you see the medium risk back to the west. We'll go into Saturday night, and look at that line. That's a pretty nasty line. By early Sunday morning, we're likely going to see a few showers in the mountains, but that main line starts to enter the mountains sometime around sunrise, and then possibly some additional development ahead of it. So there's likely going to be waves of rain. 2 things we need to watch. One, early in the day, do any of these rogue storms out here become supercellular? I think there's a small chance of that, but it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Not going to be super warm and humid yet. But as we get into the afternoon, that's when I think you got to start watching. See these? These look more ominous to me. Maybe these, but it's really I-77 east that we've got to watch that potential for some strong storms. Look at that line. You see in the afternoon, this is 1 o'clock. Yeah, that's the area that's probably going to be the most severe, from Myrtle Beach up to Greenville. And then the main front gets active in the afternoon. Even though this front looks pretty potent here by 5 o'clock, remember the atmosphere is going to be pretty worked over by this first batch. So there's a secondary wave that moves through. So wave number 1 is the scattered stuff way ahead of the line that we've got to watch, which is over here. But then we've got the main cold front right here. That could be our secondary push of severe weather. And you see it right there. It's already changing to snow, by the way, on the backside of the mountains there. Kind of shows you how big this system is. And then it pushes off to, pushes off to the east. And that's when we'll see the heavy rain. So if you're to ask me, I think tomorrow, likely just the mountains, but then Sunday, probably a couple waves. We've got to watch the first one in eastern North Carolina early in the day, and then a secondary wave late in the day. The overall risk is low because there's not a lot of instability, but it's still there. Let's talk about, though, some of that instability, because I want to show you real quickly. We're going to go to the significant tornado parameter on the same guidance here, and we'll go into Sunday. Notice this is early Sunday morning. A little bit of, let me move this out of the way. This is your tornado parameter, by the way. I'm going to move my head way over here. You can see pretty low amounts, but still some there. As we get later, man, look at that. A little uptick, maybe about 1 or 2. And then there's the front. So you can see the 2 distinct areas of threat. One there and then one along the front on Sunday. And you look up there, that's around noon. We'll go to 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So eastern North Carolina certainly looks more threatening than I think Western Carolina, though that front there, got to watch that potentially. So two maybe distinct waves. And just to show you that there's probably not a lot into this, I'm going to show you the rotation tracks. So this is the rotation tracks from the same model. If you look carefully, um, a few there, but very faint, and then a few out here. So all in all, it's not overwhelming. So I think isolated tornado risk, maybe gusty winds, probably going to be our biggest issue, but it's certainly something we're going to have to watch as we get into the afternoon. If I back this up, I'll look at the soundings real quickly. I'm going to look over Charlotte just to show you the sounding. See marginal severe parameter, the possible hazard, pretty low. If you look at the shear parameters, yeah, it's pretty low. I don't think it's off the charts. But let's look at eastern North Carolina here. I'm going to back this up just a second. Out here where those supercells look like they might be forming, possible hazard still pretty low. Let me back this up just a hair. Maybe right there. Yeah, overall, I mean, marginal tornado risk. So you see that? The little bit more of a tornado risk when you look at the sounding. Yeah, you got a little bit more veering of the winds there. So of the two areas, I think our biggest concern on Sunday is going to be eastern North Carolina and maybe a small risk here. But anywhere east of I-77 certainly needs to pay attention on Sunday. I will tell you that. I think in the mountains and foothills up to 77. So if I were to draw a line, I think from, right here east is where we're going to have to watch. And it's kind of ironic because when you look at the severe weather outlook, pretty much dead on for what I'm thinking. So we'll keep an eye on this as we go into the afternoon on Sunday. Certainly a day that we'll pay attention to, but get ready. This could be some rough weather. If you have outdoor plans on Sunday afternoon, I definitely would be considering changing those plans because this isn't just going to be rain. This is going to be rain, wind, and possibly some strong storms. So unlike last weekend, which is more of an inconvenience and light rain, not a big deal at all, wouldn't have changed my plans last weekend. This weekend on Sunday, I think this is definitely going to warrant maybe some changing of plans on Sunday afternoon. Of course, I'll have complete coverage at 4, 5, 6, and 11 on WCNC, and I will post updates, obviously, throughout the weekend.